Hello and welcome. My name's Tis, and in this video I want to talk about Stefan Aarnio and what we can learn from his early death and whether he had anything valuable to teach. Not regarding real estate. I don't doubt his real estate talent, but at the end of the day, life is more than bricks and food. And Stefan Aarnio, in my eyes, was a man who he was an artist. You know, he wrote some really valuable books for a lot of people, and he seems to have been destined for something more than real estate. But maybe I'm being a little too easy on him. You know, Gurdjieff talks about this ancient ritual, and by Gurdjieff I mean the Superman who outwitted Hitler and stopped World War II. Talks about an ancient ritual. When someone dies, you talk about the bad things they did so that everyone at the funeral learns the lesson, so that the people at the funeral don't repeat the mistakes of the person, and so that there's less mourning and less grieving, less negative emotion in the atmosphere. And, you know, I think it's wise. Everyone is entitled to their perspective. But look, Stefan Aarnio, I contacted him in 2019. And I told him about what he needed to be doing for his health, and he pretty much he wasn't discourteous about it. He was courteous, but he didn't really want to know what I had to say because I'm not rich nor am I famous, and this is a huge brainwashing that's happened already in this world. That people looking for the secrets of life in the rich and the famous. You know, people ask guys like Tai Lopez, what is the meaning of life? Tai, how do I get into the right relationship? Tai, or Dan, Grant, Tony. There's these rich, they're businessmen, okay? Businessmen, they're in their place, ask them business questions. Don't ask them for life advice. Don't ask them for relationship advice. Unless they've demonstrated, you know, a long-term stable relationship. Tony could talk about that, I'm sure, but not Tai. And regarding life, that's something else. And Stefan Aarnio just pretty much, what I told him is that we talked about, you know, his fast. So he did a fast to beat cancer, which he didn't beat, by the way. He just starved his body and starved the virus that was causing the cancer. But he didn't kill the virus didn't die. It was just starved for a very long period of time. So I was telling him that's the wrong approach, that he needs to be taking antivirals if he has a virus. And there's other things that I would do because it may not even have been a virus causing the cancer. It could be karma. Because he was a very promiscuous man, and we talked about that. But he, you know, his general attitude was that he's going to do another fast. And I said, if he does that, he's going to die. You know, it's like people want to solve every problem with a 40-day fast. There's not many people who can do a 40-day fast twice, let alone once, because there's some people who can't even do one 40-day fast. I know what I'm capable of. I know myself. I have that self-knowledge. I can't do a 40-day fast, not with this weight, you know. So I actually did a 6-day fast. I couldn't even do a 7-day fast. And I was eating on those 6 days. I was eating garlic. So Stefan made a terrible mistake of ignoring good health advice. Because, again, I'm just a little guy. I'm not the big hotshot that's all over the news and all over the Instagram and social media. So, you know, he made a big mistake and it cost him his life. So what I want to say with that is this. What mistakes are you potentially making in how you evaluate information and your sources of knowledge? Because if you are looking at people like Gary Russell, Tony Grant, businessmen, and you're looking to them for advice non-related to business, you could be like the blind man following the blind. So just be careful with that, guys. You know, Stefan had a lot of more work to do, I feel. But the knowledge that he was needing wasn't in any of the books that he was reading. And this is a mistake a lot of the people today are making, is that they're going to, Think and Grow Rich and Napoleon Hill and Earl Nightingale and Tony Robbins. They're reading these books looking for answers they're not going to find in those books. And these books and these authors, they're so promoted, and I wonder if there's an agenda behind that too. They're so everywhere, they're so omnipresent that the real voices of God are not heard. So, Stefan died of cancer apparently, and he wasn't looking good in the last few months. He just wasn't looking good. And he was ignoring a lot of the great health advice that's available to us. We have the internet. It's 2020. We have access. I don't know for how much longer, but we have access. And Stefan allegedly, he had money. And here's something else that needs to be said. He was needing to raise funds for his to beat cancer. Allegedly, okay. One of his friends was trying to raise $100,000. So the guy's selling real estate courses and flipping real estate. And I'm not doubting that. He talks about his lifestyle in his books. The guy had some money, but he couldn't afford to save his own life at the end of it. So the thing that comes to mind here, the lesson, is this. If you earn by trade, if you live by trade, if your source of money is that you trade, okay. So if you have a day job, if you have a business, you live by trade, then you are obligated to be giving away, 50% of your income, especially if you're earning as much as Stefan was earning. But no, Stefan was reinvesting and creating this and doing that and paying employees. And, so he got on this, he started young, so he got the wealth before the wisdom. He was in his 20s and he already was making great strides in his 20s, towards, having a lot of money, release a lot of assets. And he wasn't giving it to the poor. He was spending it all on himself. And I'm not saying that he was a selfish guy, because I don't think that was his nature. But at the same time, he was certainly ignorant in that respect, because this is still a law that I discovered recently, and it is a law. We're half a person, man is half, woman is half, and you're only entitled to half of what you earn. And this is something people really struggle with, because we're so scared of losing the money, we want to spend all that money on ourselves. But if you look at the problems in the world, women are selling themselves, they're prostituting themselves, they're putting themselves on movies. It's not because they want to do that. Okay? It's like there is such a shortage of money down the bottom and so much concentrated, congested at the top, that people have to sell their souls for bread. It's a disgrace on those who do earn money by trade. So, what Stefan didn't do is that he wasn't philanthropic enough. And some of you are going to be watching this video and say, well, neither is almost everyone. And I would beg to differ. There are some people who are more philanthropic than you would know, than they appear. In any case, it didn't work out for him. That's the bottom line. He died at 33. It's very young to be dying. And he did have intentions of writing a whole slew of other books. And, I would have liked to meet him at some point, because I think we had some common aspirations and interests. But it's a shame. He was ultimately a victim of this misinformation mission of the Black Lodge, that is to spread so much false information all over the world that people eventually, that the only stuff that's popular is false information, and all the real information, all the true knowledge is just unpopular. It's just, you don't find it. You go on Instagram, it's nowhere to be found. And I know that because I know where it is, and it's sort of very obscure to find it, and some of it's not even available in English. So with that said, let's all strive for that 50% donation. Let's find people worthy of that 50%, people who are smart but poor, people who are selfless but they're poor, and they should not. No one should oblige others to do what they do for a living. Some people have to be, uh, you know, poor-ish. That's God's will, and we have to let that be. But not so poor that we're stifled, because that's a different level. That's destitution. Okay, I think I've said what I've had to say. Let's all strive for that, giving away that 50% of our income to make the world a better place. There's a lot of trees that we should be watering. We want the right trees to be growing. If you give away 10% of your income, if you spend 10% of your income on beer, then beer companies will rule the world. And I've been saying that for a while, and just to paint the picture a little clearer for those people who aren't yet donating money, it's a shame. It's a real shame. A lot of people have more than enough money. And the other mistake that Stefan makes is that he had the wrong information, and he was shunning my advice because I was a little guy. So, are you doing that? Are you shunning someone's advice just because nobody knows their name? They're not rich. They're not famous. Look, the most successful man in the world, he's poor. Well, I know who he is, and I'm not going to mention him on this video. But he achieved the ultimate goal, and he's poor, okay? Because that's not what life is about. Our kingdom is not of this world. To build a business and then die is a failure of a life, okay? Now, I'm going to end it on that note. I'll see you on the next video.